Let's understand the second process in project integration management knowledge area. The second process is develop project management plan. So as the name suggests, this is a process which is oriented or focused to develop the project management plan. So what is a project management plan? A project management plan typically defines how the project is to be executed, how the project should be monitored, how the project should be controlled, and how the project should be closed. It contains various information and the plan for successful execution of the project. The content varies based on the project type, the complexity of the project, and the domain in which it is applied. This project management plan, as we said, it is basically an artifact which helps us to understand how the project will be executed, monitored, controlled, and closed. So this detailing can be done either at a summary level or it can be detailed out in the beginning during this process. So each component of this plan is described to the extent required by the specific project. The project management should be robust enough so that it can accommodate ever-changing project environment. Agility may result in more accurate information as the project progresses. Before we start using project management plan, we should baseline it. Baseline is typically defining the project references with respect to scope, time, and cost so that we can measure their performance during project execution and compare those with the performance metrics, which also gives an idea what needs to be done to ensure the scope, time, and cost is met as per the project expectation. The project management plan is an active Word document. It is an active artifact which need not be a what you call one-time developed artifact. The inputs for the process develop project management plan. The first one is project charter, which is an output from the earlier process. The project team uses this project charter as a starting point for initial project planning. And the type of information and the amount of information in the project charter, as we know, depends on the complexity of the project and the information known at the time of its creation. Nevertheless, the project charter should define at minimum a high level information about the project which can be elaborated into various components of the project management plan. The second input is the output from other processes. So there are many other processes which will be executed from the next knowledge area till the another 9 knowledge areas. Those process outputs will be integrated to create the project management plan. As I had mentioned earlier, project management plan is a dynamic artifact. So during the project life cycle, this artifacts keep changing or updated. So we need to take many outputs from other process also during the revisions and changes. So that's the reason this is one of the major input for developing the project management plan. Apart from that, there are many other plans will be developed during the project life cycle, and also baselines will be set for that. So those inputs to be also to be incorporated in the project management plan. So changes to these documents, that means the other plans and baselines, have to be updated in project management plan. The third one is enterprise environmental factors, which can influence the project management plan development process. So as we had seen earlier, so the environmental factors are the legal and regulatory requirements, then basically a PMBOK for a vertical market. That means for a construction, it could be a different guidelines. The focus area will be different. Might be if you're looking for environment, safety, or agile. So we may have to consider those factors also. Then organization structure, organization culture, the practices and governance framework, and the infrastructure, existing facilities and any other equipments. So these are the enterprise environmental factors. And the fourth input is organizational process assets, which is similar to the what we had discussed in the class process. Organization standard policies, processes, and procedures, any templates for the project management plan, guidelines, and any tailoring methodology, tailoring process which need to be adopted, then any closure guidelines for the project, then change control procedures, and monitoring and reporting methods, information flow, and how you need to collect the historical information and capture the lessons learned repository. So all these things are need to be considered as an input under organization process assets. So once we have all these inputs, then we can jump into developing the project management plan through some tools and techniques as shown. So the tools and techniques are again similar to the project charter development tools. So the tools and techniques are again similar to the project charter development tools. The first one being the expert judgment. So here, as we know, so we need to consult some of the experts who have got some expertise in their respective field and relevant for the project. And it need not be from an individual; it can be also from groups or could be from institutions. So take their inputs, tailoring the project management process to meet the project needs. What are the things should be included for the tailoring? Capture the dependencies and what are the essential inputs and outputs for the processes. These all have to be arrived through expert judgment. And also the expert should assist in developing the additional components of the project management plan if required. So expertise should be leveraged for appropriate tools and techniques to be used for the accomplishment of the different project management processes. And they should experts should also enable us to develop technical management details, which is to be followed during project management plan. So identifying the resources and skill levels and defining the levels of configuration management for the project, which document should be gone through or should go through the change control process, and what is the prioritization of the work on the project to ensure project resources are allocated appropriately at appropriate time. So these are the typical inputs we expect from the expert judgment. So once we have the expert judgment, then we go for data gathering. So for data gathering, we have the same tools like brainstorming, focus groups, and interviews. Apart from that, we also leverage checklists. This is because the checklist will guide the project manager to develop a plan or ensure that all the required information is included without any missing of the information. The third tool is interpersonal team skills, which includes conflict management, facilitation, and meeting management. And last one is conducting the meeting. That is also one of the technique. So through which we are going to execute the project, execute this process of developing the plan. And these meetings are used to discuss the project approach, how work will be executed to accomplish the project objectives, and establish the way the project will be monitored and controlled. So the project kickoff meeting is usually associated with the end of planning and start of executing. So the purpose of this meeting is to communicate the objective of the project, gain the commitment of the team for the project, and explain the roles and responsibilities of each stakeholder. The kickoff meeting can occur at different points of time depending on the project characteristics. For small projects, there will be only one team performing the planning and execution. So in this case, the kickoff occurs immediately after the initiation in the planning process group. In large projects, the project management team does the majority of the planning, and the balance of the project team is brought on when the initial planning is completed at the start of the either development or implementation of the instance. So here the kickoff meeting takes place with process in the executing process group. So multi-phase projects will typically include a kickoff meeting at the beginning of each phase. So if you have different phases of the project, then you have individual phases with a kickoff meeting. The outputs of this process or project management plan, basically what we need to have at the end of the process is to have this document or the artifact which describes how the project will be executed, monitored and controlled and also closed. And as we said, it should integrate and consolidate all the subsidiary management plans and baselines, and also include necessary other information. Some of the subsidiary management plans which need to be included or considered in the project management plan are scope management plan, requirement management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan, risk management plan, procurement management plan, and stakeholder engagement plan. And some of the baselines: scope baseline, schedule baseline, and cost baseline. So these should be included into the project management plan. And we also said about some additional components. So the additional components include change management plan, configuration management plan, performance measurement plan, project lifecycle, development approach, management reviews, and so on and so forth. So this concludes the process develop project management plan.